Hi everyone. This week essay 1 is due on Sunday and the essay will be uploaded through Canvas to turnitin.com. So the submission looks a little bit different. Just make sure you're pressing the button that says submit a couple of different times. And then once it's submitted, you will see a page that looks like this, where you'll have the name of your file, the date you uploaded, place for a grade, and then right here you'll have a box that's some color. It might be yellow, it might be blue, mostly it's green, and a number next to it. When you first upload the paper, this will probably just be a little clock. That means that your originality report is not ready yet. The first time you upload a paper, it's generally pretty quick, so if you just refresh the page, it might be there. Sometimes it might take up to 24 hours. So you might give yourself a little bit of time. I suggest you try to upload the paper a little bit early so that you can check and then do any revision you need to before the due date. Once you see this, don't panic. First of all, if you don't think you plagiarized, this does not necessarily mean there's real plagiarism. It's going to flag anything that's exact language, even if it's in quotation marks or even if it's on the works cited page. So you want to take a look and make sure that what you have is not plagiarized. So let's take a look at the originality report. When you go into the originality report, you'll see that you have highlighted sentences. Anything that's highlighted, turnitin.com has flagged as exact language that is copied from a source. And if you go to the number at the top of the highlight and click, it'll show you what the source was and then the exact language that is directly copied. Now this first one is not actually plagiarism. Even though turnitin.com has flagged it, it's flagging it to look at, and we can see that it's exact language that's copied from the source, but there are quotation marks around all of that exact language, and we have the source identified right at the beginning. So the source is identified, the language is in quotation marks, so it's not actually plagiarism. We also have a little bit later on a paraphrased idea from that same source, and the author is also given credit, so that's not plagiarism. In paragraph 2, we do have some examples of plagiarism. You've got this big block of text that's highlighted, and we can already see that there aren't any quotation marks around it. So we know that that's going to be copied language exactly as it appeared or very close to what it appeared in the original, and it doesn't have quotation marks. So already we know that's a problem. Even though the source is credited at the end, that's not enough. If you're copying exact language, you have to put quotation marks around it. This is also a little bit long. If you want a longer quote, you should use a block format, but generally you want to avoid that. Try to put most of it in your own language or elaborate on your own ideas rather than having really long quotes. If we click on this, we can see it's going to, in this case, this exact phrase or these couple of sentences appeared in another essay, and so we can exclude that essay if you click over here, and it will show you the original source. Eventually you might have to exclude a few things, but you can find out the original source. However, we don't really even need to do that because we know this is exact language that's copied from a source. We know there are not quotation marks around it, so we know that's plagiarism. We also have, even though it's not highlighted, there's another example of plagiarism at the end here. You can see we've got a quoted sentence, and that's exact language, and even though it's in quotation marks, there's no source. We don't have the author listed, no attribution to the source, so that's technically plagiarism. Even though you've indicated it's not your language, you haven't given credit to the source. So this paragraph is full of plagiarism. Off to the side here, if you want to see a list of details, you can click on this and it will give you all of the different sources. Okay, so if you do have plagiarism, you want to fix it, and then once you're done fixing it, you can upload the paper again by resubmitting here, and then you can do that up to the due date, up to the time of 11:59 on Sunday night. Okay, and that's how to view your originality report.